Hello Dalton First United families. So today we are going to start with an activity. I'm actually going to use my husband as an example of what you guys would be doing. So I want you guys to get a sheet of paper and a pen. You don't need anything that has color unless you just want to color it afterwards. I'm going to give you instructions of what to draw, and I'm going to see how well you guys follow instructions, and we're going to see how well my husband follows instructions. So you guys, as you listen as I'm speaking the instructions to Cody, and you guys do the exact same. If you want to have a little bit of kind of see what Cody does, it helps a little bit, but see if you guys can do it on your own, and let's see if we can build this picture together. All right, here is Cody Parks. I'm going to be telling him what to draw, and he is going to obey my instructions. Draw a long horizontal line across the middle of the page.
A long one?
Draw a horizontal line that's centered 10 to 12 inches below the first line and is half as long as the first line.
10 or 12? Half as long as the first line?
Connect the top line to the bottom line on each and using lines to curve slightly.
To curve slightly? Alright.
Oh, good job. Draw a horizontal line that's centered about 3 inches above the first line and again about half as long.
3 inches above the first line and half as long. Alright, so let's see right about here.
Draw 2 vertical lines connecting the ends of this line to the line below it.
So same thing, 2 vertical lines?
Draw 4 vertical lines equally spaced within the top rectangle.
Top space.
Draw 4 vertical lines equally spaced with the top rectangle. So how do you think Cody did with the instructions that I gave him to draw? So afterwards, I asked the question one more time of what do you think it is and what do you think you could do to fix my instructions. So it does look a little bit more like Noah's Ark, so we did fix that. We just made that horizontal line a little bit longer and then connected it from there. So I gave Cody instructions on how to draw, and what he had to do is he had to listen very intently, and he couldn't really ask any other questions of how to do it other than just listening to what I told him to do. And that's the exact same thing that Noah did when God told him that he had to build a very big boat, which we call an ark. So we're going to be in Genesis chapter 6, and this is the story of Noah building the ark because God told him to. So during this time, after Adam and Eve sinned, the whole world became corrupt and everybody sinned. And that means that everybody did wrong things. Everybody cheated, everybody lied, everybody hurt somebody somehow. Maybe they thought bad thoughts. As soon as Adam and Eve sinned, it just led the way from everybody else to sin. And so during this time, the world was such a bad place. And what God did was he wiped out the whole world because it was such a bad place. God is without sin, and he could not deal with that. So he chose the man that listened after him, and actually it says in the Bible that Noah pleased the Lord. So that means everything that Noah did was right. So it meant that Noah was a strong person. It meant that Noah did what was right no matter what other people were doing, because what everybody else was doing was bad and everybody else was sinning. But God chose to use Noah, and God chose to give Noah instructions on how to build this boat. So as a family, I want you guys to go through Genesis 6, verse 5 through 22. And I want you guys to look over these verses and see the instructions. There's specific instructions on what God told Noah, how he told Noah to build this really huge boat. Now, I know some of you guys have actually saw Noah's Ark with the church or maybe with your family, and just you actually maybe have seen a replica of what it looks like. But even as we read what Noah built, we see just how real everything was. And before he built this boat, there was never rain before. So God was telling him he was going to flood the earth with water, and they have never even seen water come out from the sky. So Noah had to have such a huge faith. And what I mean by faith is he had to believe in God. He had to believe that God was telling him was right. And so he had to follow God's instructions, because God was telling him that it was going to flood and that it was going to destroy everything. And Noah was protecting himself, he was protecting his family, but more importantly, he was obeying God. And that's what we're going to learn today. Is we're going to learn that the choices that we make is all in order to obey God. So I am going to use money to help explain what I mean by our choices. So, I have money here, and whether you know it or not, whether you're very, very fortunate with your family, whether at Christmas time you get everything you want, or whether you never have to ask for anything, everything costs money somehow. So the food that you eat costs money, the clothes that you're wearing costs money. If you go on a vacation, that costs money. Everything costs money. And I would like to think of our decisions and our choices is kind of like it costs money. But how is it costing us? Are we gaining something because we do something right and we obey God? Or are we losing something because we're sinning and we're making bad decisions? So I don't like giving away my money unless it's something that I know is something that I need, or whether it's going to help my family, or whether it's going to provide for me. Now, there's sometimes I feel like I kind of waste money, that I don't use it on things that will benefit myself or that will help me out. And when I'm doing that, I'm wasting money. It's just like when we make bad decisions, we're wasting our lives. We're wasting those good decisions that God has told us to do. God has told us in the Bible what to do. So we're wasting that. Instead, we're making these bad decisions, whether we're cheating, whether we're lying, whatever, we're not obeying our parents, or maybe we're acting up in school, any of those things. But if we choose to obey God, it's like we're spending money on the things that matter. We're gaining something instead of losing something. So whenever we do something right, God's going to bless us, just like he blessed Noah. It says in verse 8, Noah pleased the Lord. So because of the decisions that Noah made, God allowed him to build the boat, and God rewarded his doing good for protecting him and for providing him his life. And it protected his family's life as well because of what Noah did. So to kind of think about your decisions, just like I talked about money, is we obey God because God tells us the things to do, whether it's in the Bible. He has brought our parents to give us authority. And we're also supposed to obey people, our schools. We're supposed to obey people like Pastor Ken. Anybody that just speaks authority over us, God tells us to obey. And I firmly believe that when we do that, God's going to bless us in ways. Maybe He's not going to bless us in money. Maybe He's not going to bless us in things. But the biggest blessing is that whenever we obey God, our heart is right because we want to serve God, because we know that God has made a way, just like he made a way for Noah to for him and his family to be protected. He's made a way for all of his children, like us, to be protected from sin as well. So he brought his son Jesus into this world to protect us. And so whenever we obey God, we're receiving the best gift of all, and that's Jesus. And so I'm so excited to share you guys that that's all you have to do. All you have to do is obey God and also accept Jesus into your heart. And we're going to receive the best gift, which means that we're going to be able to be in heaven one day. We're going to be able to be worshiping God. We're not going to have any tears. We're not going to have anything that's wrong with us. Nothing's going to be ugly, nothing's going to go bad in the world, but instead we're going to be able to celebrating Jesus, and it tells us in the Bible that they've created a big room for us. So I can't wait to see what my room will look like in heaven one day. I hope you guys have a great week, and I hope you guys just enjoy coming back together as a church. Hope you guys do the chalk the lot. I think that's such a cool thing. And also we're gonna have some week videos, and I'm gonna be talking a little bit more on this midweek about the money again, so you guys stay tuned to that. Have a good week.